Welcome to this tutorial on the SchooVR Tour Creator. So by the end of this tutorial, you will learn about saving and editing an experience. You'll be able to search and upload panoramas, and then you'll be able to create a new experience using the SchooVR Tour Creator. So let's get started. So after you have created an account and log in, you'll land on the search page. So on the search page, there are hundreds of different interactive experiences that you can launch with your students. Today, we're going to save an experience and then we're going to edit the experience in the SchooVR Tour Creator. So if you have a look at the library, so here I'm going to save an experience. So you can see the title, which is Ancient Egypt. And then underneath that, we have three buttons. So we have a preview button. We have a share button to share the assignment with your students for home learning. And then finally, we have a save button. So I'm going to press the save button and a green pop-up appears, which tells me that the item has been saved. So if I go into my playlist and then if I click saved experiences, I can see Ancient Egypt in my library. So I'm going to edit it really quick. So if I press the edit button, this allows me to edit all our existing content. So as an educator, you might decide that the experience is really good, but you might want to change some of the content. And that's why we wanted to allow teachers as much flexibility as possible to create their own immersive experiences. So I'm going to click Let's Go here. I'm going to leave the content. Now, this loads our panorama library. So we've uploaded hundreds of different panoramas into our library. So each panorama can be classified by topic and also location. So if I click on an experience, so if I click on Oakvale Farm with an image of a couple of kangaroos, I can see the information about the farm. I can see key questions. I can see audio and points of interest. So I don't want to add that to my tour on Ancient Egypt. Instead, I need to find a relevant panorama. So there is a tag box which allows us to search the panoramas, and we've tried to create topics here that teachers will be covering. So we wanted to make it as easy as possible to find the panoramas. So if I click Ancient Egypt, I can see all the different panoramas that have been added to the existing tour that I'm working on. So I'm going to add Cairo here. And then if you see, when you select that, you will see at the bottom, add panorama. So if you select that button, that loads the panorama into the experience. So we might just have a look at the buttons here at the very bottom, just to move through. So the first button allows you to open the existing content. So if I select the panorama, it loads for me. Here you can also, at the very bottom, there's an add panorama button, which allows you to add your own panoramas to the tour. So I'm just going to close that. The next button allows you to add PowerPoints, PDFs, slideshows, Google Slides, YouTube clips, text, and even a quiz. So again, you can use this feature to upload any content type you want for your students to view in the experience. So I'm going to come out of that and I'm going to close it. The next button allows the teachers to edit the content. So if I click the content here, I can see the existing content. And if I am happy or unhappy with that content, I can change it whichever way I want. So you can go in here, you can change the content and then you can update it and then that saves. You can also change the audio or replace the audio with your own audio file, or you can change the existing points of interest. So we can see here that I can add a title, I can add the information that pops up already, the images and also audio as well, which I can add to the point of interest. So I'm just going to close that. And then the final button is the point of interest button. So when you select it, it'll go orange. And then if I select the screen, that'll add the point of interest for me. So you can add a title. So here we are looking at Cairo. You can add a description of Cairo, and then you can add an image and then audio. And then I'm going to close that. And then we can see here that the point of interest saves on the screen. So if you want to delete that point of interest, we just open our sidebar and then we can scroll to the very bottom where we see Cairo, and then we can delete Cairo, that point of interest. If I am happy with this experience, you can click the publish button, which I'm going to do now. So publish, and then that experience is saved into my library, and I can launch that experience with students. So let's pop on to the next part, where teachers can build and students can build tours from scratch. So here, by selecting the create button, I'll just do that again, and then by selecting SchooVR Tour Creator, teachers can add a title, they can add a description, and they can add an image for the tour. I'm going to skip that just for this tutorial and just show you how we can add information. So here we have again our panoramas. At the very top here, you can also see a map, which allows us to see the panoramas from all over the world. And then beside that is your library. And in your library, you can upload your own panorama that you might have. So that's easily done by selecting this the plus mark or plus sign on the screen here, and then that allows you to upload your own panorama into the system. So I'm going to go back to the SchooVR library. You can scroll through hundreds of our pre-made content pieces, and then you can add those to the experience. So here's a nice panorama on Victoria Falls. If I select it, add panorama, and then that adds to our experience. And here, the very same as what I showed you in the last part of this tutorial, teachers can add panoramas, they can add their own panoramas, they can add points of interest, they can add slideshows, PDFs, quizzes, and a range of different types of content. And then when the teacher or students are happy, they can click publish, and that will be saved into your playlist forever. So if I click the launch button, that launches the experience. So again, students can join using our SchooVR app for Android and iOS, or the browser if they're using iPads, Chromebooks, or tablets. If they entered the code, they can then access the experience. And to finish, teachers, if your students have mobile phones, or if there is a VR or AR classroom kit, by pressing or selecting the Start VR session, that starts the VR session for your students. So after you press this button, students are prompted to turn their phone horizontal, to put it into a goggles. So either Google Cardboard or Homedo goggle, and then they're asked to press the Start VR button, which allows them to view the experience in VR. So thanks for listening to this tutorial. In the next tutorial, we are going to look at the Google Tour Creator.